Hey, sorry about the interruption there, but I had to shovel some fuel down my neck or else I won't be able to do these. We'll wait a minute for some people to come in. Oh, we got a thumbs up already. When I, just before I left, I had shown these banana wheel pants. I'm going to be giving these to Dan. I made these are fiberglass, and I don't know, he's going to have to reshape them. He might use wrench shape or whatever. It's kind of flat up here on the top. I don't know why I didn't use them. Probably because of the weight. Yeah, these are too heavy. 17 grams. 10 grams over the limit. No good. But maybe Dan can make a set of wheel pants shaped like this. You know, you just got to make one mold in this shape. This is the exact shape of the Crossfire wheel pants, and obviously he'll be able to make them lighter and shaped better because this was done with an outside mold, and he's molding on the inside. He's doing it the right way. I did it the wrong way. From what I know about molding was all taught to me by me, just doing research. I mean, it's a get by. I know enough to get by. Dan knows enough to do it right. So we'll see what happens with that. And anyway, as I've stated before, I'm just sanding out all these parts. Now this started out at 7 grams with no tissue, no dope on it. Gained 9 grams. So the paint is heavier than the wood. This started out at 2 3/4 ounces. Now 98 grams or 3.45 ounces. So 2 3/4 to 345. So if you don't think dope and paper is heavy, you're sadly mistaken. It's, as I've stated before, you know, when you use a bottle of glue, whatever that glue weighs inside the bottle, that's how much weight you add to the airplane. So for God's sake, please wipe it off. You know, if you get some sloppy glue clobbers everywhere, you got to get it off of there. This come out real nice. It's flat. I've sanded this. It's ready to go. You notice how white this is compared to balsa wood? So you know it's not going to take much pigmented white to make it white. Or if I was painting it red, it wouldn't take much red to paint it red, or orange, or yellow, or whatever, because it's so light. So that's something that we come up. We just started doing that. John suggested. I said that's a good idea, and I don't know if I can't say that it saves any weight because I don't have quite enough experience with it, but it certainly can't hurt. So, and it acts as a blocker, you know, to see where you're sanding. I've been looking at this really well, studying this, and I need to make some type of muffler holder. And seeing as that I'm here, I think I'll probably make it here instead of try to make it in Dayton. I just make a plywood saddle to support the back half of this muffler. Otherwise, it'll be going up and down like that as the motor's running, a brake right there. Except I don't know exactly how I want to do it. I'll have to do some thinking on that tomorrow night. I head back on Saturday. Saturday morning, I'll be stopping at Dan's house to visit him on the way back. Probably be there around noon. And we'll discuss model airplanes. That's basically all we talk about. Anyway, you guys got to see the T-shirts. I hope you like them. That's the first two. We got about 11 more to go. 11 more different designs. Let's see. Let's see here. We go. Boom. Did we sell any of them? Listings. Now the other shirts are still on there, but they unfortunately have dates on them. Right? We're gonna quit putting a date on them because you don't want to buy an old shirt. So we got nothing. We sold nothing. But I can't. I don't expect to see anything. You know, if you guys want to buy them, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. But it does help support the channel. The super chat, basically help support Charles's endeavor. If you think I'm making anything on this, you're sadly mistaken. If I was talking about raccoons and stupid stuff, probably could make a killing. How about that global warming there in Texas? I bet them guys are praying for some warming. What I get a kick out of is these people, basic science. They want to get rid of carbon dioxide. Well, hell, if you get rid of carbon dioxide, you get rid of plants. Because plants live off carbon dioxide. What do they give off? Oxygen. And with no oxygen, we're not going to be here. Brilliant. I was watching that thing on Texas. It's ridiculous. Geniuses. Greta Thunberg. The absolute geniuses that they're teaching in school today. What I think I'm going to do while I'm here is I'm going to, because John doesn't like to buzz the disc sander. He's got a better disc than I do. He's got a 10-inch and I only got a 6-inch. But I'm going to roll this on the disc sander and start thinning out this nose. And I've been debating. I doubt I'm going to do this, but I want to give you the true, honest thoughts that are going through my head. I have a 10-inch nose moment here. I have I don't know, it's a 14-ounce power plant. and 14.15. It's way out there on 10 inches. I left off the extension because it leaves off a half an ounce. So that would be 15 ounces with the extension on it, or close. Plus the tank, plus the 1.4, so that's 15, 16, 17 ounces. The correct way to do this would be to move this back. Make it 9.5 or 9.25. Get everything shifted farther back. However, what happens there is you end up in a dilemma on the finishing end. If you have any kind of finish, now this is a short coupled airplane, it's 16.25-inch tail moment, but if you have any kind of finish at all, it moves the CG back. So if you push the weight back and then paint the airplane to get a nice finish on it, you have to add nose weight, and I don't want to do that. So I think I'm probably going to leave this at the 10-inch mark instead of sawing a 1/2 inch off and moving the motor back. Because it's only a 1/2 inch. And we'll see how it goes. And the reason why I've done all kinds of numbers. The airplane up over my head here, that one right there, looks really nice, that long. But that's a long nose. I think I did it because Eager Burger was getting away with the long noses with his electrics. And that's the wrong way to go. That's an 11-inch nose on that airplane. The airplane's only 58 ounces. It's 11-inch nose with an 18-inch tail. And when I first brought it out with those smaller elevators on it, it flew like a lowered 49 Merc. It wouldn't go around the corner. So putting the bigger elevators on it helped out considerably, but it's still too damn long. So I ever since I shortened up the Junar XL that I put together. Now my Junar XL is not like Billy's Junar, and it's not like Chris Rudd's Junar. Those are my numbers. It just looks like it, and it's in name only. Because it's a 9.5 16 with the motor moved back 3/4 of an inch. So effectively, it's a 9-inch nose moment. It's pretty far back there, and the motor's lighter than this. We were talking about the electric guys. If you want to know what an electric airplane feels like, take your gas-powered model, go out in your garden on your walkway, get yourself a red brick, take the fuel tank out, and put that brick where the fuel tank is, and add a little ounce of fuel and fly it. You can feel that brick in the nose. And they say, well, my motor's only 6 ounces. Yeah, but you're carrying around 12 ounces of battery. So it's all concentrated in that one spot. And it really feels crazy when you're trying to lift this thing up around the corner. And that's one of the reasons why I'm skeptical of using this motor. Now I had 3 Thunderbolts, and one of them had this in it. And I had my FAI airplane that had one of these in it. And I had my Continental that had one of these in it. The Continental XL that I sold to Tim. And it flies good. Don't get me wrong. They all fly okay. They're just not what I'm looking for. You can feel, when you do this, all you got to do is swing it like this, and wow, that's a lot of inertia. Or you can take a Super Tiger and swing it and feel the difference. Oh, that's Merco. We know that's heavy. There's the Super Tiger. So what I'm getting at here, this is Super Tiger 60, and you swing it, and you take this, and you swing it. You can tell which one's going to take more force, what's going to go up and down the scale easier or harder. Now, what you got to remember when you're designing these airplanes, yeah, this is lighter and this is heavier. Which one's going to stay in motion? Because, hey, James, because as you're swinging these, it takes the equal amount of force to bring it down and to stop it. Then the other thing to think about is you have a 13-inch propeller on this, creating a gyroscope, and you have a 14-inch propeller on this, creating a gyroscope. And the 13-inch gyroscope on this one weighs 3/4 of an ounce, and the 14-inch gyroscope on this weighs 2 ounces. Which one's going to start and stop easier? The lighter motor with the lighter rotating mass. If you take a bicycle and take the front wheel off of it and sit in a rotating chair and put the rear tire up in the air and crank the pedals and turn the wheel to the right, the chair will go around right. Turn it back to the left, it'll go around back to the left as long as you keep it rotating. That's why a motorcycle doesn't fall down. It's got 2 gyroscopes, actually 3 because the crankshaft's running in the same direction. But it's got 2 giant gyroscopes on it. Well, that's what your prop is. That's why they call it gyroscopic precession. That movement trying to get it to go in the opposite direction of the way that it wants to. I mean, if it was moving like this instead of like this, it'd probably be easier to get it to go around the corner. But then again, it would also stop a lot harder. So everything's a balance. What am I trying to do? I know that as long as I can keep everything light, to the light of insanity, you have a better shot at it. The example on that is 2 cars going down the road. One's a Cadillac, one's a Porsche. One has a lower center of gravity, the Porsche, and lighter weight, and the Cadillac has a higher center of gravity and more weight. Which one's going to go around the sharper corner with the same amount of input? The lighter car. It's obvious. Kind of like pick up that broom handle. Grab onto this broom handle here, and you hold it at the back, and you try to lever it around the corner. Which one's going to start and stop easier? If I choke up on the broom handle like so, it doesn't take as much effort. So that's how to explain that. So the broom handle theory, Galdini calls it the barbell theory, but it's all the same. The broom handle theory. I hope that well, I'm not Mr. Wizard or Bob Ross or Mr. Green Jeans or half a dozen other fake scientists. Bill Nye, the science guy. The guy is not even really a scientist. I think he was an engineer of some type. Of course, them twits always think the same way. Looks good on paper, but don't work in reality. I hope you get something out of what I'm trying to teach. You got to love engineers. They dream up some of the stupidest stuff, and then you try to put it together, and there ain't no damn way it's going to work. You know it won't work, so why bother? But they say it works on paper, so then that's got to be right. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with this so far. I might. You love the way I think. Oh, that's great. I might thin this out some more. We got this is how the back half is going to look. I don't know. For this size airplane, it's probably, I could probably cut it up another ½ inch, saw the bottom off a ½ inch, and relieve a little of the side area. However, removing the let's talk about volume. The volume of the airplane seems to have something to do with the weight of the airplane. And you say, what do you mean? Well, if you use the absolute lightest wood you could find, yet you build yourself a fuselage that's this big around, and it's light, it's got all that paint on it. It takes so much more to paint it that it becomes ridiculously heavy. So shorten the nose and use the extension. It's 10 inches already. I don't want to put that ½ ounce on it, John. So I'm thinking about decreasing some of the volume back here, or maybe trim it down ½ inch from here to there, and I can get away with that no problem. And that will trim off a ½ inch paint behind the center of gravity. And it'll still maintain that look that I'm looking for, only probably a little more like a woolly cobra, which is fine because that's what those airplanes look like in that time period. The Aries, the Cobra, the Atom, there was a bunch of them. They all look pretty much the same. But if you notice something about the airplanes of the 60s, they were entirely different than today's airplanes. They were very shapely. The fuselages were very oval. If you look at my Continental, the fuselage at the leading edge of the stabilizer is only 1/2 inch thick, wide. You'd think, well, that's a profile, almost. But if you do a cross section, it's really an egg. I mean, use a 3/16 fuselage side, sand it to shape, and then sand it out the inside. So that's some of the things that are missing from today's airplanes. The shape. I think I'm staying with the 10 inches just as is, John. I'll just try this. It's a pretty reasonable number. It's just that I would like to, it depends on how heavy the airplane is. If the airplane comes out light, it's plenty. But if it comes out heavy, I'll be in trouble. We'll be in trouble. Seeing that John just come on, see how nice and white that is? No dope, no colored paint on it yet, just clear. White clear. And the wing come out real nice. Hey, now that you're watching, John, I can show you the wingtip a little better. We tried to do a FaceTime the other night. Stupid phone wouldn't work. Aggravating. When they dream up all this high-tech stuff that's supposed to work so great, and you got some kid, pimple-faced kid, monkeying around with trying to make it better. He's made it so good you can't use it. Shit. Oh yeah. Tinting works. Yes, it does. Hopefully you can see. There we go. That's how the tips turned out. A little spot right there, but it'll be good enough. Not too big a pronounced dip in this right here. Next time that I do these tips like this, I'm going to put a 1/4 inch perimeter around the outside, right, so that it has a nice even line right there. So that's how I'm going to do that next time. But these tips that we're doing is a work in progress. This is an I-beam wing tip. It's ready to go. I've sanded on this now 2 days. Got a little bit of shine right here. Trying to get that shine out of it. There's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. If you look right in here, you can see shiny spots. To have it perfectly sanded out, you want all those shiny spots gone. They all need to be flat. That means that I'll probably sand on that some more. Look at that dust that come off there. You want all that out. Man. But it's nice and flat. It's nice and flat. Come out good. I wish my Tucker would have come out that good. But I didn't put as much work into it as I did this one. I only got one spot to fix on the bottom. And I won't be able to do that until I get back to Dayton, because my superfill is too old here. I got where I joined the sheeting together, there's a line on the bottom. And it created a flap. Now most guys wouldn't pay attention to it. I mean, it would paint up and it would be all right. This spot right here was the deepest, but there's still kind of a, I don't know, right there. So I'm going to take some superfill. I'll take this off right here. I'll take some superfill and float that in from there to there and block sand it to try to get that flat out. How about putting the front part back to the first tip? I don't know. It might work. You know, I don't know. You don't know until you try it. You know, I'm willing to try whatever. I have to think about it. Maybe we ought to make up some test tips, just a wing tip, and try it different ways and see which way looks the best. I think I'll do that. I think I'll make up section of wing this big. We'll make this part right here do a wing. I mean, I already know what this does. I'll do it that the same way as this with an edge around it on that on one side. Turn it over, and on the other side we'll do 2 straight ribs like this with an edge around it. Two ribs were low. No, they're not low. You'll see it. They're right even. That's the best that it's come out so far, but there's always room for improvement. And I think we'll do what John suggests and just make a short piece with a tip on it. You know, build a wing this big with a tip this way on one side, flip it over, and on the other side we'll try a different way and see which way comes out the best. But I already got an idea that if I'd have put that perimeter around there, this would have looked real good. Of course, the best way, the most appealing way to do it is solid wingtips. But guess what? They're heavy. My other wing in my Tucker was nowhere near as light as this. Same wing, but not as light because it has solid wingtips on it. And I made those wingtips light as hell, 1/2 ounce a piece. But these are 1/4 ounce a piece. Big difference. I wonder what my flaps weigh now since I've sanded. I bet they're 1 ounce a piece now. Pretty damn close. .9, almost 1 ounce. But if you got 3 ounce flaps, you've got too much material on it. These started out a 1/2 ounce, so here once again we're talking about paint weight. The paint on this weighed as much as the almost as much as the material for the flap itself. Because you can ask John, he's on here now. This flap was 1/2 ounce when it started. It's 0.9 now, so it's almost doubled its weight in just 6 coats of dope and 1 layer of paper. Got 3 on the bottom and 3 on the top and 1 layer of paper. So it's almost doubled its weight just in paint and paper. And the wing picked up about 2.5 ounces in paint and paper. So thank God it didn't double its weight. Still real light though, so I'm happy with it. We got 33 minutes in. I will spend the rest of today sanding. I'm not going to bore you with all the sanding I'm going to do because it's always the same. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. And the rest of tomorrow sanding. And then it's the drive back on Saturday. And I'll stop at Dan's on the way back. Drop off those wheel pants and see what he's doing. He needs to get on the stick. Get on the stick, Danny. One reason why you need to make them as light as possible. Yeah. The paint is ridiculously heavy. Ridiculously. And to think, Kenny Stevens has a gallon of clear on his airplane. I can't even imagine a gallon of clear. So that's We get a 6-ounce finish in a quart. So that's 6 6 is 12, 24 ounces in a gallon. Good evening, Mark. And his airplane's up around, what is it, John? 75 ounces, somewhere in there. Got a 12, 13-ounce battery and a gallon of finish on. Oh man, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It was front row, won the concourse, beautiful. But man, do you really want to pull that 74? Yeah, you really want to pull that airplane in the wind? Can you? I've flown them that heavy in the wind, and I'm light. I'm 160, 170. And in the wind, when they whip up, they really pull like a big dog. Yeah, well, glad to see you're over it, Mark. I've had a couple friends, club brothers, die from it. It's the way it goes. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't say Rush Limbaugh died from it. But when he announced that he had stage 4 lung cancer, I told a guy at work, he's not long. It don't take long, and it didn't. Less than 2 months, I think. As far as I know, smart about getting it operated on. The minute you get operated on and you got cancer, it exposes it to the oxygen. It will consume you. It will eat you up from the inside out. Best to just leave it alone and go on about your business. Stage 4. Now, other types, and I'm no medical doctor, but that's what I do. I don't do doctors. I don't. I have to be dead. So, it's another evening of tinkering. By the looks of it, these areas here are going to come out the best I've done in a while. Let's see how they come out on this. Yeah, they came out perfect on this. So they came out perfect on the Monado. Little spot on my tucker that's not quite perfect, but these are good here. Plenty of attention paid to this area on this airplane, because your eye goes right there. Be nice to stand off an ounce, but don't hold your breath. Let's see what he says here. It says, finishing a profile nobler, and they have lightning holes in the elevators and stabilizers. Thinking I should just cut out and put in ribs. John's 195, and they yank him all around if you don't plant before the maneuvers. I can't give you a clue on whether lightning holes or ribs are better. I know that built up is stronger, but it's also heavier. So the suggestion that I have is find some good 4-pound wood and just make them solid. This flap right here is 1/2 ounce. That's before I painted it. It's 1/2 ounce. It's torsionally rigid. It's solid wood. You can't build this flap this light. It doesn't matter whether you use foam, 16th built. It just is not going to be as light and not as strong. But you have to have good wood. So it's like these here. This is the lightest I built in quite a while, 2.75 ounces before I painted it. The elevators are solid, but the stabilizer is built up because I didn't have a piece of 1/2 inch wood that was 4 pounds. But had I had a 1/2 inch piece of wood that was 4 pounds, it would be lighter than it is now. But I can't complain at 2.75. I can't complain at 3.5 finished either. So the rib is very, let's see, the rib way is how they did the Nobler. Yeah. If you build the whole thing up, I think he has a flat, solid elevator stabilizer with holes cut in it for the profile Nobler. I don't think it has a built-up elevator like a regular Nobler. At least that's what I'm getting across, what I'm gaining out of that. But if you had some good wood, just make them solid and leave the holes out. Just leave it solid. But finding this good wood is getting to be real hard. Now, I have one of my guys here in Australia. I think I've spent about close to 600. And out of 600, 10% is super. It's all usable, don't get me wrong, but it's 6-pound wood, 5-pound wood. Getting that 4-pound wood is just damn near impossible anymore. And you can't build light airplanes without light wood, period. Unless you're a magician. Billy builds them light airplanes because he gets unobtainium wood. He gets 3-pound wood. And it's just not fair. But it's just the way it is. Now, the original Nobler was a 1/2 inch square leading edge, 1/2 inch square trailing edge, tip pieces, a piece in the center, and then 1/8 inch ribs 1 inch apart. The Giske Nobler may be that way, but the green box Nobler was built up with 1/2 inch squares. I probably got the plans around here somewhere. You look at my covering the Nobler video, it shows you the original elevator stab on the green box. Of course, who knows? I built green box Noblers as a kid, but is that the way George Aldrich did it? Here's a Giske Nobler built by Bob Giske. That's just the way John says. It's a 1/2 inch piece with a hole cut in it and then ribs put in it. The green box was a 1/2 inch piece, a 1/2 inch piece, and then ribs put in it. Now this here, Giske's got carbon fiber laid in it. And this thing here is pretty heavy, especially for a little airplane. Weighs 2 ounces. So it'd be 2.5 ounces finished. But it's nice and shapely, you know. Giesky did a nice job of shaping it. This is just a memento I have. I won't do anything with it. Sure is stiff. Oh, they cover fine. Lightning holes, I mean, they cover fine. Just don't sand around them. Stay off the edges when you sand them. I've shown that enough times. It should be pretty self-evident. You know, everybody thought Giesky was a great builder. Well, this is, I don't know, substandard, if you ask me. He was a tricky guy. Look what he's done here. Every other rib here is a hollow rib. It's a stick. He built up the elevator stabilizer with sticks, but it's still no lighter than if he had good wood. That good wood is the key. I think if you're planning on building a competitive stunt airplane, don't waste your time putting heavy wood in it. If you don't have the wood, wait. Wait till you get the right piece. Scour the earth for the right piece, because it's not worth putting 300 to 400 hours in building one and several $100s in wood material and several hundred in paint, only to come up with an airplane that's not up, that's substandard. Yeah, make sure you bevel the edges on the holes. Just like I did on the cap strips here, sand them round. You want to get that all sanded in real nice. This was all sanded real nice. That'll help you when you cover it. Also helps the look of it. The dope won't, I don't know, on a straight flat edge, the dope seems to go down and make a really weird looking, funky looking edge on it. And I didn't get any of that on this, so I must have got all these sanded really well. I'm happy about that. And normally those drips that go inside there, they don't go on when you spray it. They go on when you brush it. Because you're putting quite a bit of material down. But if you go back and look at all the videos I've done, I know it's really hard. They're really badly indexed. But if you follow any of the procedure that I've put forward, you'll end up building a nice looking airplane. I have just about shown all the secrets that I know. The biggest secret is right here. Right there. Are you willing to sacrifice? I need to wipe this down real good before I paint. I watched Dan building his radio control stick model. He's standing there with a little piece of sandpaper, talking about the old school ways. Yeah, it's all gone. It's all lost. There's no machine that'll do this. I just hope it comes out as nice as your finish did, John. Everything's a competition. I got to catch up to John. There won't be a Saturday at John's this week, but the following week there possibly could be, depending on weather and situation. And that's when this airplane will go together. This is 320 3M sticky back sandpaper. Gold or red open coat, meaning that it won't load up. You can use 600. I don't think it's necessary at this stage. I've talked about tooth and chemical bond. Well, dope is a chemical bond, meaning that the ketones in the centers eat from one layer to the next. And enamels are a mechanical bond, meaning that it needs tooth, which is what the scratches are called that are left in by the sandpaper. You get kind of the best of both worlds if you sand with 320 at this state. I won't sand with any lighter grits until I'm trying to level out the clear. So basically I jump from 320 to 1500. You know, I just don't use 600 on anything. If I was willing to put some more paint on it, the correct way would be to shoot a white coat of paint on it, sand it all with 600, shoot another white coat of paint on it, sand it with 1000 grit, then shoot clear on it, then start sanding it with 1500. Well, I just jump from 320, shoot the white on, I don't sand the white, I put no sanding marks in the white, color sanding, unless it's a really glaring error. Then I'll fix it, put the clear on, and then jump straight to 1500. And like I told you, oh, that's good. Like I told you about sanding the white, it is the correct way to do it. But if you sand the white and you sand through it, you got to put another coat of paint on it. And I don't want that next coat. So I go right from white to clear and then sand. Unless there's a glaring error. You know, if there's a big bugger. Let's say that spot right there was in the white paint, and I can see that spot. Yeah, I'll sand it with 600, and try not to sand off the white paint, and then touch it up, and then shoot the clear on it. But you guys do what you want. But you can ask John. I've been known to change up paint schemes just to save weight, because when it gets close to that 64 mark, you got to stop painting. And the way that my diet works, when you're out of paint, don't add any more. You're out of paint. I'm still on the original quart of clear. I'm still on the original quart of clear that you guys saw me mix up at John's, and I still got that much left. But it's thinner. This stuff is so thin, it's you know, thin. But this will go on the fuselage, and I'll try not to use all of that. So when you're out of paint, go to the next step. Use your half pint of white and paint it white, which mixes up, half pint mixes up to, I think, 8 ounces of colored paint. So that's 4 cups, 2 for the top and 2 for the bottom. Well, that's basically John's idea. I thought it was a pretty good idea, because you see how white it is. Like I say, the jury's still in on. You see how white it is? That's where balsa wood starts out, and this is white clear. The jury's still in on whether it helps any or not. It can't hurt it, and it certainly ain't going to add no more weight. So it was a good idea, I think. I didn't start doing this tinting the dope until getting with John on it, and I should have known better, but hell, I can't think of everything. I have a hard time remembering where I put my X-Acto knife. Well, we wasted another hour. I hope yeah, it can't hurt. Head start on the coverage. Don't have to pile on the. It would especially help if you want to do this in one coat of orange. Now, my June RXL, I did not do this, but that orange paint covers in one coat, period. It went right over the top of the silk span clear paint and covered it. But this would have made the color much brighter. I don't know. I thought about doing it in the green. I think it's going to be the traditional art shell paint job, just like my other one. I really like the paint scheme and that look of that airplane. The one that I sold Mark Lauman, it's not, doesn't have quite the shape of this airplane, but it's close. You know, it has a, this one here has the same shape wing as this, only this one's bigger. And the one that I sold Mark had a geobolt wing in it, so it's a high aspect ratio. Doesn't have the same shape as that. So this is what I'm reproducing here, the same shape as this airplane. So I think I will probably do it up exactly like this one, gold leaf letter and all. I still have the gold leaf and the sizing and stuff. And the reason being is, how many airplanes you've seen out there with gold leaf on them? I know of two. One's right there, one's in the other room. It's just too hard to do. Helps us guys that may paint total with an airbrush, less volume in the end of to spray. Yeah, that's right. So like I say, this airplane will probably get the gold leaf on it, just like that one, and just like this airplane that's hanging in the other room. The one that I sold Mark had a PA-75 in it, like this one, put on a pipe. This is going to be the PA-75 on a muffler. Try to lighten it up some. And it'll have, instead of black letters, it'll have gold leaf. And it'll have the right shaped wing in it. And the one I sold Mark flies real good. It flew real good. I think I was 20th in the, or 21st. I think, yeah, that's the one that Phil Granderson beat me by a third of a point, making top 20 with that airplane. But it's not a lightweight airplane either. It's pretty porky, pretty portly. But this one's going to be light, so I'll be happy. All right, guys, we ran an hour. And the first one was, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. Had to eat dinner. Got to force feed the pie hole. Just think about some of the things that I've put out. Make sure you get some of this and stand next to it for a long time. And while you're standing there, you might as well move it back and forth. And you'll end up with a good finish. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Like, subscribe, and share. If you want to get one of the first shirts out, I will, let's see here, I'll post a link right now. Again, these come in long sleeve and hoodies and t-shirts. Let's do the t-shirt. Copy. Let's do this. Let's do the white one. Let's do a red one. I have black, green, pink, blue, gray, royal blue, dark gray, dark red, orange, green, dark orange. I don't know what color that is. It's, and then a charcoal, and then a white. Let's use this shirt here as a sample. Copy. And then we go here. Paste. Enter. Look in the chat box for the link. I guess I probably should put them in a store. I got in a storefront. I got 2 shirts done, and they'll run 4 days. And if they sell good, I'll run it again. But there'll be another shirt, another run with 2 more different designs, and we'll just keep going down the road. So basically, that's all I got. Like, subscribe, share. Please consider joining and becoming a paid member. We lost one. I don't know why, but whatever. And I'll see you on the next go around. So fair winds, tight lines. See ya. Let's do this. Come on now. Hard to run the show and do the acting. See ya.